Hello there, YouTube. Today we are at Har-Ber Village, which is in Grove, right off of Grand Lake.
And there's me. Daddy, I'm short.
Take a
Put
look
the camera down.
at what all we can see, and here's my son.
Hey.
I wandered today, over the mountains, through the woods, and as I wandered, I saw some things, and I learned some things. Today, I'd like to share them with you.
Har-Ber Village has been on my absolute must-visit list for a very long time. I mean, an outdoor living history museum built in every way to replicate a frontier Ozark town, it's like we were made for each other. But when I saw an email from the village promoting their first ever Mountainman Rendezvous, I desperately found a way to visit. And I had the privilege of taking my eldest son with me on a frontier father-son journey into the Ozarks. Now, before we get too far, you're going to see some pictures of the rest of my family as well. What can I say? We enjoyed it so much, we had to go back. The story of Har-Ber Village begins when millionaire founder of the Jones Truck Lines Company bought a plot of land to set up a summer home right off of Grand Lake. His wife, being a pious woman, requested a chapel be built on the property. After it was finished, they realized if the chapel had a preacher, he would need a place to live. And if he had children, they would need a school. And so on and so forth. Pretty soon, Harvey and Bernice Jones realized what they were building and moved full force into collecting real historical cabins and artifacts from all over the Ozarks to create a living history museum the likes of which the world has never known. All but a handful of the buildings on the property are original 19th century structures, and over 90% of the artifacts were collected directly by Mr. Jones himself. The story is told that once Mr. and Mrs. Jones showed up at the auction, any and all competition just left. You simply couldn't outbid them.
What we're doing is making a rose, so I started with one solid piece of flat metal that looked similar, if not exactly like that right there.
There are several living history exhibits on display from March 12th to November 5th. Be sure to sign up for their mailing list to find out when they're available. You can also check them out on Facebook.
Look at him. Look at him. He's biting. He's biting. This is a... This works. This works.
Right.
And his teeth... This is why he knows I'm wood.
Why is he gnawing wood?
Because his teeth will just grow.
Wow.
Until he's one of those thingies.
Mm-hmm. As for our Mountainman Rendezvous, the mountain men in attendance were the real deal. They knew their trade and the skills they needed to survive in nature and bring their whole families with them. They all camped out on site for the duration of the rendezvous with period-accurate kit and had presentations prepared for any adventurers wandering through. The mountain men were personable and made for enjoyable conversation. I'll be anxious to see them again next year. And by the way, this wasn't just a museum for adults. There were plenty of child-friendly, hands-on activities as well. There were places to play and places to rest, as well as project areas to show the kids about how life was in the old days. There was even a place to lock up any ragamuffins who cheated at chess. Overall, the Har-Ber Village experience is fantastic from start to finish and easily worth multiple visits, just like we did. If Ozark Frontier history is your fancy, you gotta head on down this way.
Bye.